Imagine Alexander the Great, a force of nature, a man whose ambition and charisma could ignite the hearts of thousands. He was not just a king, but a living legend, a figure whose very presence inspired loyalty and awe in those who followed him. With relentless determination, he reshaped the world, carving a path from the rugged hills of Greece to the distant, mysterious lands of India. His empire stretched farther than any before him, connecting cultures and peoples who had never met. Alexander was more than a conqueror, he was a vision in motion, a dreamer who believed in the impossible. His mind raced with ideas of unity, of blending East and West into something entirely new. And at his side, through every triumph and trial, was Ptolemy, a companion not just in arms but in spirit. Ptolemy wasn't just a soldier, he was a strategist, a thinker, and Alexander's childhood friend. Their friendship began in the classrooms of Aristotle, where they learned philosophy, science, and the art of leadership together. Their bond was forged in the chaos of battle, where trust meant survival, and in the quiet moments of planning history, where ideas shaped the fate of nations. In the flickering torchlight they would pore over maps, dreaming of what could be, strategizing not just for victory but for legacy. Ptolemy witnessed firsthand the fusion of cultures, Greek, Persian, Egyptian, each encounter leaving its mark on him. He saw how Alexander's vision brought together ideas, art, and traditions from every corner of the known world. He stood at the dawn of a new era, watching the birth of a world where old boundaries faded and new possibilities emerged. In this crucible of change, Ptolemy learned not just the art of war, but the subtle power of a grand vision, how to inspire, to lead, and to adapt. He saw that true greatness lay not only in conquest, but in the ability to imagine a future that others could not yet see. Alexander dreamed of blending Greek and Eastern wisdom, of creating a world where knowledge and culture flowed freely across borders. Ptolemy absorbed these lessons but remained ever pragmatic. He understood the value of dreams but also the necessity of practical action. He knew that even the brightest stars, no matter how brilliant, must eventually fade, leaving behind a legacy for others to inherit. As empires rise and fall, new worlds are left for those bold enough to claim them, to build upon the ruins of the past. Ptolemy's journey with Alexander took him across scorching deserts, over towering mountains, and into legendary cities where history was written with every step. He was more than a general. He was an observer, a chronicler of events, always learning, always watching, recording the lessons of power and ambition. A scientist of power and politics, Ptolemy understood the forces that shaped empires. When Alexander's journey ended in sudden tragedy, Ptolemy saw opportunity in the fragments of a shattered empire, recognizing that the end of one story was the beginning of another. With determination and vision, he was ready to seize his own destiny, to carve his own path in the world Alexander left behind. In 323 BCE, the world was shaken by the sudden death of Alexander the Great in the city of Babylon. His passing left a vast empire, stretching from Greece to the edges of India, suddenly leaderless and vulnerable. The dream of a united realm held together by Alexander's charisma and military genius began to unravel almost immediately. In the aftermath, his most trusted generals, known as the Diadochi, gathered in tense councils. Each man, a seasoned warrior and ambitious statesman, saw an opportunity to carve out his own dominion from the chaos. What followed was a ruthless and bloody struggle for power, a game of alliances, betrayals, and shifting loyalties that would shape the ancient world for generations. Among these contenders, Ptolemy stood out. Ever the strategist, he set his sights on Egypt, a land ancient, wealthy, and uniquely defensible. The Nile's fertile banks promised abundance, while its deserts formed natural barriers against invasion. Egypt was a prize coveted by many, but Ptolemy moved swiftly and decisively. He quickly secured the position of satrap, or governor of Egypt. Ptolemy understood that controlling this region would give him a stable base from which to build his own legacy. He began to weave himself into the fabric of Egyptian society, respecting its traditions while introducing Greek innovations. But Ptolemy's boldest move was not on the battlefield, but in the realm of symbolism and legacy. He intercepted Alexander's funeral procession as it made its way from Babylon, seizing the conqueror's body before it could reach its intended resting place. By bringing Alexander's body to Egypt, Ptolemy claimed not just the land, but the very legacy of the man who had conquered the known world. The funeral procession through Egyptian streets was more than a ceremony. It was a declaration of legitimacy, a signal to friend and foe alike that Ptolemy was now the true heir to Alexander's vision. This act was political genius, a checkmate in the opening moves of empire. By controlling Alexander's remains, Ptolemy positioned himself as the guardian of the conqueror's memory, and thus, the rightful ruler of Egypt. He first laid Alexander to rest in Memphis, the ancient capital, and later moved the tomb to Alexandria, a new city founded by Alexander himself. In doing so, Ptolemy anchored his rule in both the deep traditions of Egypt and the innovative spirit of Hellenism. With the land, its immense wealth, and the symbolic mantle of Alexander, Ptolemy set the foundation for a dynasty that would endure for centuries. He blended Greek and Egyptian customs, amassing treasures and building monuments that reflected both cultures. Egypt became his kingdom, bustling with life and commerce. The world took notice as Ptolemy transformed the land into a beacon of prosperity and learning, drawing scholars, traders, and adventurers from across the Mediterranean. Ptolemy was no longer just a general, he was crowned as Pharaoh, merging Greek ambition with Egyptian divinity. He became the living bridge between two great civilizations, and the heir to a legend that would echo through history. The stage was set for a new era, one of innovation, cultural fusion, and enduring power. The sun rose over the Nile, illuminating a future shaped by Ptolemy's vision. The Nile's prize, coveted for millennia, was now firmly in his grasp. Ptolemy's hold on Egypt was secure, and his ambitions stretched far beyond its borders. The dynasty he founded would shape the course of history for centuries, leaving a legacy of art, science, and power that would outlast even the greatest of conquerors. The great game of succession had a new master. Ptolemy's rise was a testament to cunning, vision, and the power of seizing opportunity in the chaos of history. Egypt's future was forever changed, and the world would never be the same. With Egypt secured, Ptolemy transformed from general to pharaoh. In 305 BCE, he declared himself King Ptolemy the Soter, savior. The Ptolemaic dynasty began, a Greek family ruling Egypt for nearly 300 years. They fused Greek and Egyptian traditions, ruling as Hellenistic kings to Greeks and as pharaohs to Egyptians. This dual identity created stability and prosperity. Greeks dominated administration and commerce, while Egyptians continued their ancient ways. Ptolemy had not just claimed a kingdom, he created a new world that would outlast its rivals. Ptolemy mastered cultural fusion, blending Greek and Egyptian traditions. He encouraged Greeks to respect Egyptian customs and introduced Hellenistic vibrancy to Egypt. Religion was key. He championed Serapis, a god combining Greek and Egyptian elements. Serapis temples became centers of worship for both peoples. Administration was hybrid, Greek for government, Egyptian law for locals. Papyrus records show contracts in Greek and Demotic, reflecting this blend. This pragmatic system allowed both cultures to coexist and prosper. Ptolemy's vision was a cosmopolitan society where ideas flowed freely. Greeks brought philosophy and science, Egyptians offered ancient wisdom and monumental architecture. This exchange created a unique cultural ecosystem. Alexandria would soon become its intellectual heart. Every great civilization needs a great city. Ptolemy's was Alexandria. Though founded by Alexander, Ptolemy made it the ancient world's glittering metropolis. Its harbor connected Egypt to the Mediterranean. Its grid plan reflected Greek rationalism. Alexandria was built for knowledge, not just trade. At its heart, the Great Library and the Museum. These institutions declared that wisdom, not gold, was true wealth. Ptolemy invested heavily, attracting the best minds to his city. The Pharos Lighthouse, a wonder of the world, symbolized enlightenment and guidance. Alexandria became a melting pot: Greeks, Egyptians, Jews, Persians, and more. Its diversity fueled constant intellectual exchange. Here, science, literature, and philosophy flourished. Alexandria became the beacon of human curiosity. Ptolemy's vision for Alexandria centered on the Great Library. It was more than a collection of scrolls. It was a quest to gather all human knowledge. Agents scoured the world for books. Ships' cargoes were searched for texts. The library grew to hold hundreds of thousands of scrolls. It was a dynamic center of scholarship, not just storage. Scholars organized, edited, and compared works, birthing textual criticism. The library housed poetry, philosophy, science, and lost treatises from many cultures. It was a testament to Ptolemy's belief that knowledge was the highest power. The library was a bold declaration. The pursuit of understanding is a kingly endeavor. Alexandria became the world's intellectual capital. The Museum was the world's first research institute, founded by Ptolemy I. He attracted top scholars with generous support and freedom to explore. Here, astronomers, mathematicians, physicians, and poets collaborated and debated. Their focus was research and discovery, not teaching. Euclid wrote his here. Eratosthenes measured the earth. Herophilus pioneered anatomy. The Museum was a crucible of genius, institutionalizing the scientific spirit. Ptolemy's support for pure knowledge lit a fire that burned for centuries. The Museum proved that investment in science and the arts is essential for civilization. Alexandria became the place where humanity systematically explored the universe. Alexandria's scholars weren't just innovators, they were preservers of the past. They collected, edited, and standardized the great works of Greek literature and philosophy. Without them, much of classical heritage would have been lost. They established definitive texts for Homer, the tragedians, Plato, and Aristotle. The library's preservation efforts shaped the Western canon for millennia. Ptolemy, himself a historian, understood the power of the written word. By founding the library, he ensured the voices of the past would speak to the future. Alexandria became the guardian of civilization's flame. Ptolemy the Soter died peacefully, a rare feat among Alexander's successors. While many of his contemporaries met violent ends, Ptolemy's passing marked the conclusion of a remarkable life, one that shaped the destiny of Egypt for centuries to come. He transformed from a battle-hardened general into a revered pharaoh, evolving from conqueror to creator. Ptolemy's journey was not just about seizing power, but about forging a new identity, one that bridged the worlds of Greece and Egypt. His legacy endures not in the lands he conquered, but in the enduring institutions he established. The monuments, temples, and centers of learning he founded became the true testament to his vision. The Ptolemaic dynasty ruled Egypt for nearly 3 centuries, blending the energy and innovation of Greek culture with the deep-rooted traditions of Egypt. This unique fusion created a vibrant society where art, science, and philosophy flourished side by side. Alexandria's library and Museum became legendary, serving as models for all future centers of learning. Scholars from across the ancient world gathered here, exchanging ideas and preserving knowledge for generations. Ptolemy's greatest gift was the belief that knowledge itself is a source of power and prestige. He understood that true greatness comes not from conquest, but from the wisdom and enlightenment that knowledge brings. He showed the world how to merge cultures and create strength from diversity. Under his rule, Alexandria became a melting pot where people of different backgrounds could thrive together, united by curiosity and ambition. Like a star whose light still reaches us across the ages, Ptolemy's vision continues to inspire. His dream of a world united by knowledge and culture remains a guiding force even today. He measured his rule not by the number of battles won, but by the knowledge he fostered and the minds he enlightened. The scholars, poets, and scientists who flourished under his patronage changed the course of history. Ptolemy lit a beacon that still guides our search for understanding. His legacy reminds us that the pursuit of wisdom can illuminate the world, just as the great lighthouse of Alexandria once lit the ancient seas.